Welcome back. You're watching the Press Club. Before the break, we were talking about Cuba and American relations being thought improving. It's also the subject of the ongoing presidential election and the series of debates where you have people like Donald Trump taking some tough stances on immigration. It also highlights something that we have touched on before, that is the value of political debates. We've asked that question on more than one occasion. We've seen attempts this year to try to create exchanges, opportunities for debate between opposing forces on the political arena. Those have not gone so well so far. But the question was thrown out in Street Vibes this week about the value of debates. And I think generally in the United States, that's what we've looked up to as our gauge. Dave often argued that those debates don't weigh too heavily in terms of persons' final decisions at the poll. What is your opinion or view on that?
I do not think a debate is good. I don't think debates should be aimed at influencing people. I don't think we should want to encourage that somebody should wait for a debate to decide when they're going to, if they're going to vote, who they're going to vote for. It certainly
should give you a better view of what the parties or the candidates' views
what
are
it should be used
policies.
for is what it is intended as a gauge, of the contesting persons debating. The argument against it, a lot of which has already appeared in the media, is saying that in the St. Lucia context, and that's the problem I have. They're saying, okay, the U.S. debates are okay because for some reason, they're better at it than us. But that in St. Lucia, where we're still considered a nation of idiots, that debates between most of the contending candidates would end up in a sorry exchange of insults and lack of information and promises that cannot be delivered, etc., etc., and therefore it would not even be worth the effort. I'm saying that that's dangerous in that it condemns the principle of encouraging debates onto the dustbin of political history simply because we don't like who, or we consider that an exchange between two candidates in a constituency might be boring. There are boring debates. If the two candidates, for example, cannot, either of them, present themselves in a way that pleases the electorate, the message will go out. And if the media cover those debates, then they will also be able to not only have the broadcast media putting those debates live so that whatever is being said in that constituency could be followed nationally, but the print media would also be there to reflect on it in subsequent issues. And therefore the debates, what would be a sorry or a glad, a good or a bad debate, would be commented upon by the media, and would give the process some legs to flow. There is there was a letter in one of the papers on Thursday which gave that argument that the debates would be useless and fruitless in the context of St. Lucia, but arguing on the other hand that what should really be encouraged and should be expected would be a debate between the two political leaders. Now I'm saying, if it's good for the two political leaders, why isn't it good enough for the people who are going to decide which of them is going to be the Prime Minister?
If the argument that the Prime Minister is presenting that this election is an election between the SLP and the Shasneys, then it might be a very good way to start. We'll get two of them and then look at subsequent debates.
The argument was that let's just, but I don't buy the argument that the debate is bad for candidates, but good for the two political leaders, because the candidates may not give us a good debate, but the two political leaders might give us a better one, or they're expected to give us a better one. So why would we, in a spirit of uncertainty?
Yeah, but perhaps that is, as you pointed out earlier, maybe that is the thinking behind the writer's logic as well, that given the St. Lucian psyche, the St. Lucian situation, where people seem to vote along party lines rather than specific candidates and policies, that it might very well redound it to
Let's
just that.
do it. We
Yeah.
either want debate. What is the purpose of a debate? A debate is to encourage the contending parties to face the electors in the constituency, to present their cases and to receive questions and give answers. That is what democracy is about. But I am being told, forget about that because it might not please us. You know, a debate is a debate. The conclusion of the debate might be satisfactory. It might not be. It might be satisfactory to some or to others. There again is where the media comes in, because if, as the writer argued, the debate would most likely end up with each side bringing their supporters, and, you know, they're still having that clash, that party clash insofar as the persons who are present, although others say that people wouldn't turn up anyway because people are not accustomed to that. But I'm saying for both of those reasons, let's start it, because it would be elevating. I mean, I also heard the argument that it has never happened in the Caribbean. We could make history. We have already made history. The fact that Senator Mary Isaac didn't turn up to the first debate in Cicerone didn't mean that it didn't take place. You know, we have made history. It's not a halfway. It's not like saying a woman is halfway pregnant. You know, history was made, and I think that it would do us well if the other youth and sports councils, whether they are considered legitimate or not, whether they're considered, I can't remember the term that the UWP leader used to say, that he would only, the UWP would only participate if credible. You know, if it would only participate if the organizers of the debates are credible. Does that suggest that the youth and sports councils in the 17 constituencies are not credible?
I think the suggestion is that they're politically influenced.
Yeah, or that they politically influenced. That forced the South Castries Youth and Sports Council to issue a clearing.
Yeah, but regardless of who organized it, the moderator in this case, Jerry George,
was Jerry George,
it
yeah.
also throws paint on him and smears his name as well, suggesting that perhaps he's politically influenced as well. So in that case, what I would suggest is what I've suggested before. Maybe the Media Association needs to step forward and assume responsibility for setting up a national debate process, and even going beyond our shores to avoid claims of that sort of political influence and credibility issues, by perhaps getting somebody from the Caribbean Media Association to sit as a moderator for those debates.
Sorry,
but let's make it happen.
Sorry, the president of the Media Association maybe won't hear these appeals, because he has admitted elsewhere that he doesn't follow the St. Lucia media.
All right, let's shift our focus to an issue I think you raised in a private discussion with me on a legal precedent this week.
It happened in St. Kitts. It involves why I give it some local credibility.
Let's take a break, because we're due for one, and then when we can round up with that story. Quickly running out of time. This is the Press Club. We'll be right back.